Oh, there they are. It's the general public. How's it going there, folks? Shh, quiet. Thank you. Hey there, folks. Once again, deep within the bowels of historic downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, comes that show that you're just dying to watch. The one they call In the Library of Graphic Literature. With your wacky host, me, Wallace Ryan. Whew, what a day today, man. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very warm here tonight. I guess you can tell by all the waves of heat that are sort of distorting the picture here. But yes, it's very warm out. Actually, it just started to rain here a while ago. Every so often you might even hear the sound of rain on the tires of cars just outside my window there. One moment, please. But after a beautiful week like we just had, what's wrong with a bit of rain? Okay, folks, what business? Oh yes, first of all, a shout out to a man. Oh, I have a note here, as a matter of fact. A shout out to Nicholas Prom of Comic Reflections. How's it going there, Nicholas? Thanks for the share. I like it. If anyone does have their own podcasts out there or whatever, and it's about comics, especially collected comics, let me know, because I don't mind actually sharing those on the Library of Graphic Literature Facebook page. We're all one big community, so why not share? Okay. Oh, so, oh, one moment please. The magical, oh, come on, yeah, oh. It's a little bit too close to the cups there, okay. Don't you just love the sound of that spinner rack? Okay. It was a very good week actually for books this week. Let's see what we start out with. Actually, I'm going to start out with the one book here that is not wrapped. And once again, from the fine folks at the Library of American Comics comes yet another volume of For Better or For Worse. The classic comic strip by Lynn Johnson. Very autobiographical. This volume 2, this covers from the year 1983 into 1986. A very good time. Never really read her stuff that much when I was younger, but when I heard that it was coming out in collected form from the Library of American Comics, I just had to have it because, excuse me, over the years I had read a strip here and there, and I think it was more when I started to get into Hate and other biographical type of comics, and I realized, hey, this is pretty cool, and this reminds me of the other comics there being sort of autobiographical and like, and so I figured, hey, I'll join in and see what I can do. So I'll do a close-up here. Oh, actually one of my lights have slipped here. Let's get that back up there. There we go. That looks a lot better now, doesn't it? Okay, so we have here For Better or For Worse. And I like the fact that they include the color one, the Sundays in with it. Very good job, folks. Big shout out to Curtis Finley, one of our members of the groups who works at the Library of American Comics, and to Dean and all you other fine folks there. Keep up the great work. We're just loving it. I love the fact that there's annotated things here too. Sometimes it's cool to have a little comment or whatever to go along with it. So good idea there, folks. I like that. I always kind of liked her style though. It's a very flowing type of style. Very easy, very immediate type of a style. So yeah, I love it. I'll send this out, this particular one out to my friend Sean Huckster, who's a big fan of For Better or For Worse. This is for you, Sean. Thanks. Okay, now let's lay that aside here. Whew, now, what shall we do next? What shall we do next? Oh, let's start with the monster. Oh, feel that. Feel that. What this is the complete series Ex Machina. The complete series Omnibus. From DC Comics, well, Vertigo DC Comics. I started to read this years and years ago and I liked it. I'm a big Brian K. Vaughan fan, so Brian, if you're out there in YouTube land watching this, we loves you. Loves you. Anyway, Ex Machina, let's pop this baby open. It's a rather expensive book too, actually. We'll be paying this off for a little while. Okay. Split and cut, split and cut. But like I say, I've loved everything from from Why the Last Man, Saga, everything he seems to do, I seem to love. Now let's have a look. Oh yes. Now let's have. First of all, here's the cool looking dust jacket. Pretty nifty, pretty nifty. And oh, I love these inside covers that actually have images on them. Check that out. Sweet, eh? And this has issues 1 to 50 of the Eisner Award-winning series, and I think it's Ex Machina specials 1 to 4, is it? I think something like that. Anyway, love the artwork. Check it out. And of course the stories, if everything else I've read from Brian K. Vaughan is any indication, I can't wait to be cracking this little baby open, reading the guts out of this one. So yeah, beautiful, and of course lots of cool extras there. I always like the extras. They just make everything so much better. Okay, so Ex Machina, definitely, and this is going right onto the reading stack. Sometimes, if I buy a book that contains comics I've read before, for the most part, I will just shelve that book. And I've been, lately, the past couple of years, I've been sticking to reading books, you know, when I buy new books, reading the books I haven't read. Because if I have to read every single book here, I am not going to finish reading them. I've read, people have always asked me that too, how much of your library have you read? I would say about 90% of it. When I first started collecting, I was reading everything. But the past couple of years, it began to overwhelm me and take over and take off. So that's when I decided to go for the reading of the new material policy. That doesn't mean though that I won't stop and have a look and have a read of some of an older of a book that I have read. Like when I bought the Akira box set, I actually went back and I read all those, even though I read it before, but I hadn't read it in the backwards fashion, which I did, and it was kind of neat, and sort of exercising the other side of the brain that you never exercise. Okay, what else do we have here? I'll save some of my favorites from last year. Let's hit Dark Horse next with Abe Sapien, The Drowning and Other Stories. Of course, what can I say about Abe Sapien and the Mignola-verse that hasn't really already been said, even by myself? I always loved Hellboy, and then along came BPRD, and I started reading that, and I fell in love with BPRD. And then of course, next thing, you know, and then of course, like everything else, from Baltimore to all these other books, and the Abe Sapien series, it looked really cool. So now I didn't read these in single forms, so reading this will be my first time. This tends to be one of the books that does go right on to the reading pile in terms of read immediately. I have a backup of Mignola-verse books, so I gotta catch up. Well, let's have a look. Oh, kind of plain inside. You know, nice silver sort of thing there. Lettering. Let's see. Yeah, nice enough, I guess. Yeah. Let's get this in close for you folks to have a look at. Let's take off its clothes first. Oh no, I'm a naked book. Don't show me off to the people. Shut up. You're going to be shown. No, stop it. Anyway, really cool. Even when Mignola doesn't do the drawing, I love it. Because he picks people that are, you know, not clones of his, but in some ways there's an echo of him in most of them. If not the layout, then sometimes in the artwork itself. And of course, who doesn't like Abe Sapien? Abe Sapien is cool. So for any of you out there who are not fans of the Mignolaverse, what's wrong with you? Get out there and start loving some Mignolaverse. I'm warning you. Love it. Okay, so there we go. It's another beautiful book from Mike Mignola. Thanks, Mike. Okay, now from DC, let's jump into a bit of DC here. DC Wonder Woman by John Byrne, Book 2. Still haven't read Book 1 yet. Whoa, but big time. Well, I always was a bit of a... When I was growing up, I was a huge John Byrne fan. Back from, I think the first time I came across John Byrne was when he was doing Iron Fist. Loved Iron Fist. And then when they put him on to X-Men and some other stuff, it was just like, oh, this is so cool. This Byrne guy, I love him. It took a while for the rest of you to catch up to me, but you did. So let's have a look here. Nice cover, nice spine, nice back to it. And, oh, let's have a look of it without its... Oh, there, it's just sort of a plain embossed cover. Not bad, you know, very plain, very utilitarian. So I got to check these out at some point. Like I say, I always was a huge fan of John, and sooner or later I am going to have to read this. I don't know if you can hear the whistling of the wind here now. It seems that this tropical storm is arriving here. So I hope I can finish this episode before it hits full scale. Okay, there you go. Here's a bit of John Byrne for you. I know some people aren't big fans of John Byrne, but I mean, I always liked his stuff. Good storytelling. Great drawing. I mean, there's just no doubt about it, right? But yeah, I think a lot of his earlier stuff was more, sort of more my favorite type of stuff. But yeah, he really can draw them comics, can't he? So yeah, it's one that sooner or later I'm going to have to sit down and give a good read of. Sooner or later. I always imagine that at some point there might come a time at some point which I'll stop collecting books and sort of settle down and then read what I have here and spend the rest of my life reading my collection and all that. But then I look at the previews and there's something really cool there and I gotta get it, so, you know. As a matter of fact, I've even started editing out my collection here a bit. Not that I've been selling or whatever, but I've sort of boxing up and making room for all my super favorite type of stuff. Down. Now, let's see what we got here. We have Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Woo! Now, of course, I'm a huge Legion of Superhero fans, as some of you out there may know. Oh, look, this has one of those inside imaged covers. Oh, let's open it this way so you can get a cool, eh? So I got the first book in this series, so well, it's a Legion of Superheroes book. I gotta get it. This one, for the most part, has artwork by James Sherman. Let's have a look here. Arvell Jones, James Sherman, Arvell Jones, and Joe Staton. One of my favorites. If you're out there, Joe, loves your stuff. I thought there was a Sterling one in among here. Now, let's have a look here. Ooh, Murphy Anderson inks one of them. But I was pretty sure, let's have a quick scan down through here. I was pretty sure that there was at least some, strangely enough. Ah, here we go. I bet you it's in one of these last ones. Please, please, please. Ooh, a Steve Ditko one in here. The late Steve Ditko. And, wow, okay, I thought that there was some, Jim Sterling work in this one, but I stand corrected. But yeah, anyway, this yet another volume of great Legion stories. These really do follow, because I mean, actually with this one, that one, they really do follow pretty closely after the DC archive. So it's kind of neat for anyone who is a Legion of Superheroes collector. So have a look there. I had the pleasure of showing off to you the volume 2 of the Legion of Superheroes Omnibus, which is pretty cool. There's a bit of Jack Abel inking. I kind of like Jack Abel in a weird sort of way, you know. He has a very dark, weird style to him, but I kind of like it. Oh, and there's good old Dick Dillon. I was actually a bit of a Dick Dillon fan. I kind of liked his stuff. And Joe Staton, of course. Who doesn't love Joe? I dare you not to love Joe. Okay. So for you Legion fans out there, make sure you get this, or I'll be severely disappointed in you. Severely. Okay. Whew. What a warm one. Okay. Now, last but not least comes Volume 10 of the Marvel Masterworks, Captain America and the Falcon. The reason I love this one so much, this has a word, I have it written here, Captain America 193 to 200, and also includes the famous Captain America bicentennial battles, and the king size annual too, I do believe, annual number 3. This is the 1970s Jack Kirby on Captain America, which as a kid, I collected this when I was a kid, when it was coming out at the time, and I loved it. There was just something, his stories were always so unusual. They were, even at this point, they were unlike anything else that was out there at the time. So, he still had it, and he still had it good, I think. But yeah, I liked most of his Marvel stuff. I liked the Eternals. Even Devil Dinosaur had its moments. And 2001, even that, not too bad, right? And the Black Panther, not too bad either, not too shabby. But I think probably the Captain America is probably, I think it probably is one of my favorites. Now, sad to say that I do have the Captain America Omnibus by Jack Kirby of this, but I couldn't resist it because I do have, you know, volume. As a matter of fact, what do I have here for it? Well, anyway, I've been collecting them anyway, and I've caught up to this point, and I figured, well, why stop now instead of having a 2-volume gap in my Captain America run? I figured, shag, I'm going to go for it anyway. So here we go, with that beautiful cover there. That's issue number 200. I actually prefer, kind of wish they had gone with the, what was it, with the 193 cover. which is the classic, one of the classic Jack Kirby covers right there. Let's strip this off for a second and get in a close look here now. Ta-da! These are what Masterworks look like when they're naked. Anyway, this is one of my favorite runs. Absolutely love it. The neat thing about this is, this is actually one of the books that I'm going to use in my class when I'm teaching about inking and inking styles, because this one has everyone from Frank Garcoa, D. Bruce Berry, John Verboten, Barry Windsor Smith, Herb Trimpe, John Romita, and Dan Atkins. So it's a wide range of people inking him, and it's great because I love that type of thing, to be able to show my students and show them what difference inking makes to a person's art. So speaking of which, let's have a look at the start of Mad Bomb here. Mad Bomb, it can destroy the world. I loved his concepts. I loved it the way this one I always loved, Screaming the Brain. I just loved his comments, his concepts. They were always just so big. And the Mad Bomb was just really super cool, I thought. Oh, and special appearance by Henry Kissinger. And there it is, the Mad Bomb. I love the size of that, right? Looks cool, eh? And then into the Trojan Horde. I can remember buying this one so clearly as a kid. But yeah, loved it. Look at that action. Look at that. That's what I love about Kirby, was all action. Well, all storytelling, but all action too. Great storytelling. This comes closer and closer to the battle. Oh, and then this is the Marvel Treasury edition of Captain America's Bicentennial Battles. The cool thing about this is, like I say once again, is all the different inkers, especially how it starts out, because it starts out with being inked by Barry Windsor Smith, which really does change the whole look and feel of Kirby's work. It's kind of neat to sort of see Smith inking him, because Smith in some ways started out as a bit of, strangely enough, as a bit of a Kirby clone, but really went far and above and beyond the direction that Kirby went. But I still love both of them. Absolutely incredible. Oh, and this is a, this was the annual. I can remember having this as a kid and reading this up in the cabin, and I just read and reread this one so much. Doom is the thing from the Black Hole Star. There was just something about it I thought was just really super cool. Great story, cool characters, and the monster in this guy's just totally out of control. Oh, and then of course some really cool extras thrown in there. Oh man. So pick this up, especially any of you Kirby fans, and especially you Marvel Masterworks fans. Get out there and get this. Whew. Well, still waiting for most of the storm to hit us here. So, but thankfully, I've gotten through all of the books. So, do your worst. Weather. Well, I shouldn't say that. Knock on wood. Don't do it too bad. Anyway, that being said, cheers. Nothing like a good sip of tea. And so that's it for this week, and same time, same bat channel next week there, folks. I'll be here in the Library of Graphic Literature. Keep reading them books. Okay, now I'm going to boom tube my way out of here. Yes. See you next week. Oh my God, look at the size of that boom tube. Okay, see you folks. Whoa! Ah!